speaking of that, how do you feel about like the 2 doubleheaders a week and going into the season going into November and possibly playing on Thanksgiving? Like, how do you feel about that to try to make up for this lost time?
I think it'd be fun.
What's up, Braves Country? It's Kel, Blake, and Mick here for episode 5 from Braves Country Radio. But first, before we dive in, if you aren't subscribed to our YouTube channel, go ahead and subscribe now. And while you're at it, leave a like and a comment letting us know what you like or didn't like about our past videos. Also, just a little final reminder, make sure you're following us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook page at Braves Country News for updates on everything Braves related and more awesome content from our page. Just letting you know, hope you're all staying safe right now during this pandemic going on. But at the same time, I know we've been doing SeatGeek, however, right now, just kind of letting you all know, we'll not take promo codes as there's not really any live events going on right now. So just wait until the season gets back up to use our promo code. We'll remind you then. But we've got an awesome, at the end of the podcast, we have an awesome 20-minute video with Riley Unroe, a Braves minor league player. It was a great interview, highly recommended. But before we dive into that, we're kind of just going to discuss the current state of baseball right now between the three of us. I mean, as you know, the season today is actually should have been opening day. It's March 26th. We're kind of sad right now because it's 9:09 and we're about an hour away from first pitch of seeing Ronald Acuna take Mason Saunders, aka Madison Bumgarner, deep at Chase Fields. But here we are. But like we said, we hope everyone's staying safe. But we just got some pretty big news from Passan and Rosenthal. So make you kind of want to update everyone what's going on.
Yeah, so we just got word. Obviously, this probably won't be any new news to anybody listening or watching, but we just got news from Passan and the big writers there in the baseball community that the MLB and the Players Association have reached an agreement. We're not sure. I mean, by the time this comes out, we'll probably know the agreement and know the details. But as of right now, we know that they have reached a deal concerning, the start of the season, what they would do in the event of a cancellation of a season. Basically, all the things that you need to know about, how the coronavirus has affected the season and what they're going to do about it. More details to come, obviously, but that's all we know as of now. Like I said, probably everyone knows the news now as of this coming out. But, yeah, what do you guys think?
It's obviously fantastic news. It's news that everybody, I think, needs right now. Like everything's been kind of down lately, and just having just kind of this light of hope right now, I think it's so relieving, honestly.
Yeah, any news is good news right now, man.
Exactly.
Yeah. We were blessed last week with NFL free agency because that was the only thing going on. And unfortunately, that's not going on this week, where it's died down a lot. So it kind of gives us hope and passion to know that the MLB season they're still striving and let it happen. Like we said, we don't know exactly what the plan and the details of the plan. And honestly, it may not even be in this plan. It may just like as many games or whatever. But we'll see. I think our predictions right now, Manfred went on Scott Van Pelt last night on ESPN for SportsCenter, the 11 o'clock SportsCenter, and he talked about how he's hoping he has hope that by May they will be able to look and say, all right, we can start getting back in baseball activities, and then take 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, however many weeks they need to get back into shape and for the season. So you can honestly, I would probably say at the earliest, expect the actual season starting in June. I don't know if you guys agree with that, but I think that the earliest that can happen is in June. And granted, I don't know how many games that would be. Probably, I would have to say 120 maybe would be the most I could see happening. 130 to 120. I think we're all on the same page too. That 162 is not happening this year.
Absolutely, yeah. I'll go ahead and give my spill on it. Yeah. So obviously, we've heard what Manfred said and everything, and currently, as of today, other news that came out is that the U.S. is number 1 in confirmed cases of the coronavirus. And with that being said, that it's bad news, but it's also kind of a good news because it's the fact that China and Italy have died down. We all know that China obviously had hit their peak of most confirmed cases, and they're kind of slowly decreasing, and that's a good sign. And with the extreme precautions that the United States have taken, I think that's a big plus for us, especially in the sports industry, of getting back to what we can do. But my theory basically is that they get the boots on the ground kind of in mid to late May, hopefully, if everything goes accordingly. And they can start the season probably anywhere from early to mid-June. This is obviously all at the best. Things can go south, and we cannot start until mid-July, past July 4th.
Yeah.
But my guess would be at the best that it's probably early June, mid-June is when we can start the season. And the players are all on board with these double headers, max up to like 2 a week, and extending the season into the November, possibly playing on Thanksgiving with playoff games. But yeah, that's the best case scenario I see. Obviously, I'm with you on the 120 to 130 even maybe games if you're going to schedule it out that way. The one thing I think is important is obviously they're going to have to mix the schedule up a little bit, kind of tweak it if they can get like 130, 120 games in. But the important thing that they do is that they don't get rid of any division games. You play 19 games against each opponent. They can't get rid of any of those games. They're going to have to hit the interleague games first and then the games in your league, but not in your division first. You can't play any of those 19 games unless you're absolutely forced to.
Yeah, that would, I think, I'm with you. Blake, give us your take.
Well, you see, the way I see it, the last delayed season we saw in any major sport was the 2011 NBA lockout. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So we weren't alive the last time the MLB had a delayed season, which, I mean, it worked out for us. Not going to lie.
It did.
And,
It did.
But you see, baseball is, I mean, in my opinion, it's one of the reasons why it's the best sport that you can play. I mean, it takes all this preparation. I think that's why it's going to take longer and push further into summer. But, like, the NBA lockout, like, as soon as it was over, they just started playing,
True.
You can't do that with baseball, man. It's like spring training. Like, you're going to have to, like, restart. What'd you say earlier we were talking about, Mick? Like 3 to 4 weeks?
Yeah, it's going to have to be, like, at the least 2 weeks, but I don't expect that. I expect at least 3 weeks.
Dave Roberts said that, right? Dave Roberts.
Yeah, Dave Roberts and Joe Madden. So.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, it's just kind of crazy, like, the preparation and stuff. It makes you realize, like, how like, much these athletes put into like their time
to their craft.
It's really crazy.
Just like real spring training, like on a normal schedule, it's mainly for the pitchers. Obviously, I can't imagine how weird it is for the pitchers now to go into spring training and start loosening up for 2 weeks and then say, "Hey, we're done right now," and then like 2 months, 3 months down the road, you're like, "Hey, get warmed back up again." That's probably a weird scenario, and it's nothing like we've ever seen before. So, I mean, even in '95 with the strike ending, they didn't have a spring training, and they just started one, around where opening day was supposed to be. So it's interesting. We've never seen a situation like this, and neither has Major League Baseball. And so they're kind of adjusting to it as much as they can because it's such a new and different scenario.
I think we all want sports back as soon as possible. Just because I think sports will help heal us, but at the same time, we don't want to destroy the sports that we have. We don't want to go out and lose all the athletes due to the COVID-19 or even the fans. We don't want to put anybody at risk. However, we do want to enjoy sports. So I think slow into it. My best case scenario, I think, is still June, but I'm leaning more towards maybe even a late June, early July, maybe right around 4th of July. I think the worst case scenario is after the All-Star break. I think baseball and every sport has a point of no return right now. They won't say it, but I think there's a point of no return, and I honestly think that point of no return is if you get into August. I mean, I hate to say it, but I just don't think you can play. If you can't play 90 games, but let's just keep going. I mean, I don't want to harp on this situation too much, but like we kind of talked about earlier, Passan, Rosenthal, the report at MLB and MLB PA have come to agreement. We don't know the terms right now as they just really announced it probably about 20 minutes ago. Owners are voting on it tomorrow, but we expect that probably will pass. But yeah, so I'm going to dive into a little news that we kind of learned yesterday or the past few days. And one reason why we want the season to happen is because, well, we don't wish injury upon anyone, but it helps when another division rivals ace or one of their aces needs Tommy John is going to be out for a while, and that so happens to be with Noah Syndergaard of the New York Mets. Was announced. Was it Monday? Monday or Tuesday?
Monday, yes.
Monday or Tuesday. It was announced that he needed Tommy John surgery and was going to be out for the rest of the season. How he tore up his elbow in quarantine, I have no idea. That's just the Mets' luck right there. But I think we're all on the same page. That's a good thing for the Bravos, especially. I don't know if y'all agreed with me. I can't remember. We were going to release our season's predictions, obviously, but that's not happening right now. But I had the Mets as the biggest contender for the Braves in the East. And mainly because they had such a stout rotation, but now their rotation is looking like DeGrom and Stroman, which is a solid top two. Then you got Steven Matz, and then you got Michael Wacha, and then you got Rick Porcello. So took a big fall.
Yeah, just as we when the Braves signed Will Smith, we were kind of in awe of how much one pitcher kind of changed the entire complexity of the bullpen. And it's the same way backwards. With the New York Mets, you're like, this rotation can get them into the playoffs as a wild card or even,
challenging the Braves.
But now you take out Syndergaard, and all of a sudden, like, it aligns completely different just with one guy. I mean, there's 5 guys, sure, but that taking out Syndergaard like that, it's a huge blow because now your rotation's way too top heavy with, obviously the greatest pitcher in baseball right now. And then obviously Stroman, who could have had a solid year last year, could be, a big guy this year. But when you get to those 3, 4, 5, you're not looking so promising. Matz is a big question mark. And then you got the 2 new guys, Porcello and Wacha, who are going to be fighting for the 5th spot. But it looks now that they'll both be in
4 and the 5.
So I don't know, man. It's a lot of question marks now. And the lineup was good enough with that rotation backing it up. But with this hit, like Syndergaard, I think it really hurts the Mets' chances at making the playoffs this season.
It puts a big dent. Blake, you got any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, you just like looking at those names, you would think that rotation would carry them easily into the playoffs. Just looking at the names, not even the statistics, just look at the names, but that's just not the case. Like Stroman, I mean, yeah, like you said, he had a solid year last year, but he's never been the most consistent.
Nope.
Matz, Porcello, like the only solid one there is really DeGrom.
Yeah.
And even before Syndergaard got hurt, I mean, he was solid, but his consistency.
He was a question mark before because of because of his velocity dropping off and him having such a bad year. But the Mets aren't looking any better for the future either, with Stroman being a free agent this year. This is his contract year, and so that rotation is looking really grim. Not only for this
future,
looking a little grim for.
So yeah, but I guess some other news real quick we'll hit before we leave. It was a while back, but we're going to report on it now just because we haven't had a podcast, and we apologize for that. Like we said, there just hasn't been too much stuff, but we promise you from here on out we're going to bring you great content. We're going to try doing some stuff on YouTube live, maybe even weekly, hopefully, whether that's just talking baseball, talking shop, or doing some fun stuff. Like this past week, we're doing a greatest Braves of all time bracket. So go to our Instagram, go vote on that. But some other talk, like I said, we have Chris Sale is going to be out for the season with Tommy John. We knew it was coming. It was just a matter at what point, and I think with the season delay, the Red Sox were like, let's just go ahead and throw in our caps and let him go ahead and go get Tommy John. So, I mean, not really division rivals. We were going to play them this season, possibly not going to play them anymore. Doesn't affect us too much in the long-term run. But, yeah, I mean, y'all have any, quick thoughts on Chris Sale needing TJ?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously this is COVID-19 has put us in not the best situation for us baseball fans, but when it comes to guys with injuries like that, it's not a bad situation for them at all. It gives them time to get what they need to get done and start recovering for next year. So, I mean, applaud for the Red Sox for calling it early. I mean, I know they stated previously that he wasn't going to have it, but with the season delay, obviously they pulled the trigger. But I mean, this gives teams opportunities to get guys in need what they need. I mean, it's all. I mean, there's a bright side to everything, and as bad as this is, I think that's one bright side you have to applaud.
Yeah. So, final news. Again, with the Red Sox, it was announced last night, I believe, that they have a ruling. That Commissioner Manfred said they do have a ruling on the Red Sox Cheney scandal. However, he said he has not gotten to it to write it into paper and write a statement about it. Because obviously, like we said, there's more pressing issues in the nation right now, not just in MLB, but in the nation and probably even worldwide with COVID-19. But we're interested to see what all that entails. I'm definitely know it's nothing as harsh. Not even the Astros wasn't even that harsh, but I highly doubt it'll be as harsh as the Astros. And the Astros rarely got away with anything. It'll probably be the same thing, if anything, with a $5 million max, since that's the max fine. And they've already gotten a new GM and they've already gotten a new manager. So what are they going to do? Force the owner to sell the team? That's not going to happen. So
Core's going to get it. Alex Cora is going to get it. That's about it.
Yeah, Alex Cora is pretty much going to get probably a lifetime ban, honestly.
As he should.
Yeah, if you've done it in two different organizations and didn't learn with the first one.
Champions.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's pretty much all the baseball news right now. We hope you're staying safe. We're sending thoughts and prayers to your family and to yourself. Please practice social distancing, quarantining. Don't take any unnecessary risk, and watch out for the elders and for the young population. So let's try to keep everyone safe, guys. Thank you again for tuning in. But yeah, Mick, you want to segue us into our next segment?
Yes. Once again, thank you so much to Riley Unroe for joining us on the podcast for a short interview. And here is that interview right now.
All right, guys, what's up, Braves Country News? We got another guest on you today for our podcast. Braves minor league baseball player Riley Unroe. What's going on, Riley?
What's going on, fellas? Happy to be here.
Man. Yeah,
appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah, of course. Glad you're here with us too, man. So we're just gonna ask you a couple questions just about life and baseball for you, just growing up and everything. So I noticed something that you were committed to USC before the draft, but then you ended up getting drafted in the second round coming out of high school. How hard was that decision, choosing between going to college, getting your craft there, or just going straight up to the pros, getting it started?
Yeah, it was a difficult decision, but I'm very fortunate to be in that position to have both of those options. Well, basically, education had always come first, and so that's why USC became available, was because I did take education very seriously all throughout high school. So I was able to maintain my GPA and then good SAT scores and all that. So that's and obviously I wanted to keep growing, and that's something that I'm very passionate about, is constantly learning. So school was a definite possibility and route that I wanted to take. When it came down to the draft, it was life-changing money, out of draft. And they also threw in the clause that after I retire, they will pay for what I had originally signed to with USC. So even after I retire, I can still go back to school. So yeah, it's not money that I can touch. It has to be like after I retire and everything, then I can go back to school and get a degree in whatever I want, and I can go to another school as well. They'll just give me that same money. So that was that made the decision a lot easier, because then it was like, all right, well, now I for sure get to go chase my dream, and start my career, and then I always have a fallback option. But
that's great.
That was how that decision was made. Yeah, I was very fortunate to have that. Very blessed.
Yeah, I saw that a lot of I've heard a lot of contracts that guys coming in that could have gone to big schools in college, that they'll sign that contract and they'll guarantee their college no matter what. I think that's a great thing that these MLB teams do. I mean, because forces your hand, you know what I mean? It's like, well, no matter, even if this goes completely wrong, at least I got my college paid for no matter what.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, you just never know in this game. I mean, injuries happen every day. Life-changing, life-altering events happen. So to have that backup plan that security. Yeah, it's nice.
Well, so we kind of did a little research on you, not to sound stalkerish or anything like that. Just know our facts beforehand. But pretty much growing up, I mean, it kind of seemed like you moved around a lot, if that's correct, with your dad, playing in the minors and majors a good bit.
Yeah, so that's kind of how all of this started. I was born into the baseball family. Very fortunately, yeah, Pops played, and so I was born in New Orleans where he was playing AAA baseball for the Brewers, and then was able to go and grow up with clubhouse guys and whatnot. And so Mark DeRosa is one of those guys when my Pops played for the Braves that was just one of those awesome guys that would still play with me even though I was like 4 or 5 years old. You know what I mean? Just he was one of those guys that I had an impression on when I was very young. Yeah, so I was very blessed. So yeah, Pops kind of showed me the road on what baseball was going to be like and introduced my love to that. And then my mom introduced me to my faith, and both of those things are very important to me. So that's kind of my life story in a gist right there. That's how it all got started.
Well, that's awesome, man. So I guess the question I want to ask off of that, since kind of grew around with different ball clubs, if you had like a favorite team growing up, a favorite major league team growing up or not. So
favorite team. I mean, my family's from Illinois, so I grew up with Chicago everything.
Yeah.
North side, Chicago everything. So but the Braves have always been a team that I would play with in video games all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like they were always, they like, especially Atlanta in general. Even when, the Falcons had Michael Vick and you know what I'm talking about? It was always, Atlanta's always been a special place.
Man, those Madden games with Vic, when Vic had the 99 speed as a quarterback, it was just not fair.
That was my dynasty team all the time. I'm really excited to be with the Braves. It's just a winning culture. It's special being in that clubhouse and hanging around guys like Ozzie and Freddie and Acuna and seeing the way they work, and even like, Culberson and Swanson and the way they feed off of each other. The chemistry in there is just something that you don't see too often. It's very humbling to be around.
Yeah, I know your spring training got cut short a little bit, but you kind of experienced that firsthand, getting a non-roster invite this year, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it was my most favorite spring training ever. It was a blast.
Yeah. Oh yeah, how did you like the new facility?
The facility was every baseball player's kind of dream playground, is the way I would put it. It was very organized. Awesome. Yeah, I mean, anything you guys needed, and then tons of trainers, massage therapists, just whatever we needed to make sure that we were at our peak performance. Our strength coaches are freaking geniuses, so you go in there early in the morning and you know what I mean? I don't have any big league experience, but they treated me just like they would with Nick Markakis and, putting me in and giving me the workouts that I needed to get better.
Awesome.
Different workouts than Acuna or whatever the case was, but individualized. It was, that facility is amazing.
Nice. Yeah. So when throughout your minor ball league career, which season of your minors did you enjoy the most and why?
I would have to say last year. Yeah, I mean, just coming into the Braves made me feel right at home. I mean, most baseball guys are pretty similar, so it doesn't take too long to really get to know one another. But yeah, even the Braves fans in AA, and High A where I did start, just loyal and enthusiastic, and it puts every time you put the jersey on, it kind of brings out a little fire, and and the rest of the team. It's special, So yeah, last year definitely being able to put a Braves, jersey on and wear it across my chest was my favorite part about last year.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. Really great to hear, man. So you played high school in Arizona. Also, while in high school, you played for the USA 16 under team. Yeah. How was that experience? I don't think I've ever, had a one-on-one conversation with someone who got to be in a scenario like that. What was that like for you?
You guys did do your research. It was Team USA is my favorite baseball experience growing up, and possibly to this date. And I'm sure my big league debut will trump that. But if it can, I don't know that. But that Team USA was special. I mean, not too many kids and people on the world get to represent their country and go compete for it. So it puts a different meaning into taking the field every day. And the team we had was very special. I mean, we went in there and kicked butt, took the gold medal, and it was a lot of fun to dogpile at the end with a bunch of studs from around the country. It was cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Were there any big names in there with you on the national team?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, tons of kids. Austin Meadows.
Wow.
Yeah, Austin Meadows was our leadoff hitter. Bryson Brigman, he's in Double-A right now with the Marlins. Dom Nunez, catcher with the Rockies, I think now.
Yep.
Yeah. Christian Arroyo.
Yep.
Yeah. Who else?
That's awesome.
I mean, there was a ton of dudes.
I can see why y'all won. Jeez.
Oh
yeah.
No, every single one of those guys. I mean, as talented as they were better teammates. That's why we won. You know, we were a tight knit group for only being together for about 2 months, and I mean, even when we play against each other today, you know, it's like we picked up right where we left off. It's still, you know, the banter, just messing around with each other. They're good people.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's what makes a good team right there.
Exactly.
Just good people, good teammates. Yeah.
I like to think that's what we got in Atlanta.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you see it all the time. You know, Ozzie and Acuna messing around. Yeah.
Is there any like in the minors that you see Ozzie and Acuna's relationship? Do you have like that other guy that you spent time with all the time?
Yeah, I don't mess around too much when I'm at the field. You know, I'm not very animated. I'm kind of there to get it going.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ryan Castile, I would say he was my boy. We have a lot in common, and you know, we both like to work out and be in the weight room, so we push each other constantly doing that. But yeah, he's one of my boys. Braden Shoemake is another. He's a great dude. We're always messing around. Shea Langoliers, our catcher, I just got to hang out with him in spring training this year, and he's a great dude too. I would be excited about that guy. I'm pumped for him to start making a name for himself even more.
Oh no, you both definitely will.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Yeah,
but yeah,
no, your time's coming.
Shay's a great dude. Yeah, but yeah, I'd say those guys, and I mean, get along with everybody though. But it's fun. It's a good culture to be around.
So kind of like going off of that, I guess, is just like out of all the teams you played for, because you've been playing, I think, in the minors since 2013, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Like, who's the most famous teammate you've ever had?
Think about it. I would say Willie Adames.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Willie Adames. I mean, he's up there, but yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's going to be a lot more names that come up. You know.
Yeah.
I've been playing with a lot of young guys, so I mean, Luis Rengifo with the Angels, he's on his way too. That kid's a star.
Yeah.
And Jared Walsh, two-way guy. Yeah, but yeah, I'm sure there's going to be a lot more guys that are coming up. I'll get their names out there. I'll be able to answer that question more in depth later.
Yeah, I got you, man. Yeah, and yeah, let your career finish first, and then you can kind of look back on it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
On a totally unrelated topic, how have you been spending your time in quarantine?
Well, I'm actually in my gym right now. I know you can't see anything, but I got some weights up to like 35 pounds, some dumbbells, and then just boxing glove, yoga mats, and then like a couple of resistance bands and whatnot. So I've been fortunate just to have my family here at home. We've kind of been self-quarantining and then messing around. We're trying to make some YouTube videos of us all working out as a family and whatnot. But yeah, they're doing a great job. They're just trying to keep me in shape. And then, you know, we're just playing card games, messing around, playing some video games. But yeah, kind of bored out of our minds a little bit already. You know?
Yeah.
Oh, dude,
I'm sure you guys are too.
I was bored. I was bored out of my mind on like the second or third day. So
yeah, same.
All right. What have you guys been up to?
I've been playing a lot of the show.
Yeah.
That's
right. No, I can't get enough of it either. It's just like I gotta square some balls up. You know, that's the only way I gotta.
I can't hit a damn breaking ball to save my life now.
Yeah, you just gotta sit on it, man.
Those low changeups are the ones that get me.
Oh my God.
I can't hit those.
Yeah. No.
Well, let's So I mean, we kind of did, like I said, we did our research, and obviously you could probably tell a little bit. But you were a second-round pick by the Rays in 2013, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And so then you came to the Braves in the Rule 5 draft, right?
Yeah.
So how does like those two draft experiences, from your perspective, how do they like compare? So
well, they're actually completely different.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought.
So the amateur draft is, obviously the hyped draft. There's tons of preparation. Scouts coming over to your house and interviewing you, making you do all these crazy tests and whatnot to make sure you're legit. Like you can see you don't have any eye problems or whatever the case is. Come to meet your family. After that's all over, they kind of have that idea. So the Rule 5 draft is, from my understanding, because I've been Rule 5 twice, and both of them were out of the blue. I had no idea I was getting Rule 5.
Okay.
The first time to the Angels was just early in the morning, and then I got a call from the Rays, and they said, "Hey, just wanted to let you know you're no longer a part of the Rays organization." I'm like, "Oh man, I just got released." And that's all going on. And they're like, "Oh no, you're an Angel." I'm like, "Oh, all right, cool." And then the very next year, yeah, sweet. I'm still playing ball. And then my year with the Angels, I went out to Australia to play some winter ball. And then obviously the time difference, we're like, they're 17 hours ahead over there. So it was like 2:00 in the morning, and I get an email saying, "Hey, you're a Brave now." I was like, "What? How did this happen?"
Wait, what the heck?
Yeah, no prior notification or nothing like that. So, but yeah, it's a blessing though, for sure. It was just completely out of the blue.
Gotcha. Well, I just got an alert. From
Yeah,
Jeff
I was going to say, Turner, you want to bring that up? We just got some breaking news.
Jeff Passan tweeted that the Major League Baseball and the Players Association have a deal. The players have voted on it already, and the owners are expected to ratify it tomorrow. And he says an excellent sign that draws a path forward as baseball tries to figure out when it'll return.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
Yeah. Any good news that's great.
I know, like I was just saying, anything good just at this time is just all what we need.
Speaking of that, how do you feel about like the 2 doubleheaders a week and going into the season going into November and possibly playing on Thanksgiving? Like, how do you feel about that to try to make up for this lost time?
I think it'd be fun.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, right. I mean,
I like that.
As many at-bats as possible. Yeah, right. I mean, the shortened season, it's nice to have time off after long seasons. But I mean, if we're going to be missing most of the season, there's guys you can grind it out for 3-4 months. You know what I mean, and play a couple extra innings here and there, and definitely to extend the season into November would be fun because then you would have to really kind of do a gut check with how chilly that weather would be in some areas. Yeah.
I don't know if y'all have seen this, but Scott Boras has actually released a plan for a major league that he's proposed about like an extended season. Yeah, extending a season so its clients can get paid, obviously.
That man
so we can get money.
So like the season would extend until December 26th is what he was saying. And him and
World Series on Christmas?
Yeah.
Pretty much is what he is saying. But he said MLB has not like commented on it at all. But they've done their research, and like we would play at all like the like in Philadelphia, New York, Seattle, Chicago. We would play in all their stadiums in June, August, and September, and then move south and play in all like the Atlantas, the DCs, the Miamis, even Toronto, since they're a dome, Chase Field, play there in like the winter months, so there's no snow cancellations or anything like that. But supposedly he's
about the only way you're doing that.
Yeah, he said that he would get a neutral site for the World Series too, is what he proposed in that. So I was kind of interested to see that. So I don't know.
I think with
that'd be wild.
I saw something today saying that if you do the doubleheaders and you extend it until November, you're looking at about 120, 130 games, and I think baseball can get by with that. I think if you're overkilling it to make up for, and get that 162 game season, I think you're going to be doing more bad than good. Baseball can be survived with 130 game season. We saw what happened in 95 last time the World Series, just a lot right there. But it was only 144 games, but no one talks about it. No one,
Right.
no one writes it off as, oh, like this could have happened or that could have happened.
Yeah.
As long as you stay above like 120 games, it's not going to be that much different.
Right.
So,
Right.
well,
yeah. I mean, it is what it is. Sorry.
Oh, you're good, man. You're good. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
But
sorry.
no, you're good, man. So I guess we won't keep you too much longer. We just have one final question, I think.
Okay.
And so if you could go back in time and witness any baseball moment live, what would it be and why?
All right. So I was thinking about this, right?
Yes.
For quite some time, because you guys sent me that list of questions, and so I would have to say you have to go back to Babe Ruth's called shot and see if it was legit.
Oh, wow. That's a good one.
Dude.
You know?
I think I might agree with you on that one.
Yeah.
Question around it.
What other like games would you guys go back to, or what other moments?
Ooh, I think I would want to see the Bream slide in Fulton County Stadium.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Braves win.
Yeah.
No, I'm probably just gonna go with when I hit my first home run. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
That's baseball history right there. No, I'll probably go with Henry Aaron breaking the Babe's record. So.
Oh yeah, that's
Because instead of having two guys on the field running the bases with them, there'd probably be three, and that would be
that would have been you.
I'd have to agree with you, Kale. That'd probably be my moment. There's nothing that can top that, really, as a Braves fan.
You know what I never understood is why like fans back in the days in like the 60s and 70s and 80s were just so like allowed to just roam on the
right?
field.
It would happen all the time.
Yeah, like it's crazy.
Now you can't make it 20 feet without getting tackled.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You do that in Gwinnett, you're getting a lifetime ban.
Yeah.
Well, all right, Riley. Well, hey, thank you, man, so much for joining us today.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely, guys.
It.
It's a pleasure.
And
Yeah,
if you ever,
dudes.
Yeah, and best of luck to you whenever this hiatus is over.
Yeah, seriously, no doubt.
I appreciate it. We'll be ready. It'll be
All
fun.
right.
But
All right,
you
man.
guys keep the passion, keep doing what you're doing. It's a lot of fun, man.
Man, thank you.
All right. Well,
just keep enjoying it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. We'll let you know when this comes out.
All right, sounds good.
All right. See you, man. Go work out hard.
See you, Riley.
Yeah, of course. We'll do. You guys take it easy.
You too, man.
All right.